So, guys, in this session, let's learn something about check against source. Right? So, many times, if while you are running physical verification, you come across scenarios wherein you are comparing a schematic and a layout together, and then you get all those physical verification related errors. But there are so many layout and schematic related things which have to match. I mean, it's not mandatory though, but then it does help you in debugging. Okay. Many times, as a layout engineer, yes, you may be okay just by making it physical verification clean. But when it comes to, ensuring the Excel connectivity is fine, all the parameters, what you have selected in your schematic and layout are similar, all the instance names, all the bindings, all the Excel connectivity, all of this things, sometimes some of the companies expect you to have similar. Okay. Because we as layout engineers, yes, you will know that, okay, this is what it is, you know where which net is coming. But if at all, if somebody else is opening your layout, say for example, today you're working in a company and tomorrow you leave the job and go, or say for example, your designer wants to dissect into the layout, or if they want to edit it, if they want to touch that design, they expect you to have the Excel connectivity intact, sorry. They expect you to have all the instance names to be similar. They expect all the parameters, like how we've got a P cell over here in schematic and layout, right? They expect you to have all these parameters exactly the same. In here, what we are trying to do here is we are trying to learn something called as check against the source, wherein we'll take one parameter at a time and try to understand what exactly each of this means. Okay. So now, before we get into that, okay, so let's turn on this annotation browser over here. So you can just right click and over here, yeah, okay, a little bit on top of it, assistance. You need to turn on the annotation browser and this window pops up. And then what we do is let's go to connectivity. Where do we get this button is go here, connectivity, check against source. Click on this. Here you will get a list of parameters what you can check. Many of the companies, right, they check all of these things. Now that this EDA vendor has got all of these options, it becomes easy for you to check. But some of these kinds of checks are also written manually by some of the companies, and they also call it as logical compliance checks, or lots of they give their own custom names to it. Just try to ensure the connectivity and binding and all of that is similar. Okay, so in here, this tool gives us the feature of, just to ensure whether your binding is correct between the instances, masters are same, connectivity is intact or no, parameters are same or no, or the names what you have in the instances, all of this. Okay, so this is a new term. Now this is a workspace. This is called as a workspace over here. Okay, wherever the error is shown, is displayed. Now gallifs is something like, you get a bubble over here, you get a colored icon over here. That's called as a gallif. Okay, I'll show you that right away. So, here it gives you an option of, trying to figure out what information, whether when you click that gallif, you're going to get the information or how it is. I'll just show you what it is. Let me do a scenario over here. Let me, for example, I'll just click here. Okay. Okay. Here I'm getting different errors over here. Okay. Multiple kinds of errors. Let me just create another one over here. Okay. Okay. Let's take this. Okay. Now over here, unbound instance. What does it say? MN0. Click on this, which is MN0. I'll just press Control F, and this is my MN0 over here. Just by clicking the button, right mouse button, and updating it, automatically my errors will go away. Okay, here I've got multiple varieties of errors. Here it says MN0 is unbound. This is not bound to the schematic. That's what it is trying to say. Over here, you get an error message over here. Now, how do you do that? So there are multiple ways here. If you click here, it says layout instance MN0 has no corresponding schematic instance. That's what it is. Now you have to bind this to the corresponding schematic instance. Okay. So now just to tell you, this is called as a gallif. This icon here, right? It's called as a gallif. So that's what it was telling. When you want me to move a mouse, should it display the error message, or when I do the left click button, should it display the message? I've left it on clicking, doing a left click on this icon, and then it displays this error message. Okay. So let's get back to our fixing our binding. Unbound instance. Simple. Click on this, right click. Okay. Select object, bind, ignore instance. Majority of these check against source errors will go away just by using a right mouse button. Okay, just say bind. Automatically this gets bound. You get this window over here. This is a normal binding and unbind window. Click the corresponding, the instance on the schematic side and just say bind. Close. And here you go. So now if you see here, if I click this on the schematic, on the layout side, over here on the schematic side, this gets highlighted. This is a simple case wherein we are trying to show binding of the instances. Now you see these, all the other glyphs over here. Let's see what these are. Okay. So now I'll click on this and say over here, I've got this name. Okay. MN1 device. Okay. Which is MN1. Let me just say Control D. Let me regenerate this. Okay. I'll just say, if at all I want to get rid of this, say verify markers, delete all. I'll just say all and delete here. Okay. So now let me just give some name to it. I'll just create one more error. Instance names you see here. You've got this MN5, MN2, MN8, MP and all. So I will just go and change the instance name here. MN5, I will make it as MN underscore new. I'll just give some random name to it. Okay. MN underscore new. Okay. Now I've just created a scenario wherein I've just copied. Right now I've just changed the name, or even when you copy an instance, right, the name changes over here. The instance name changes automatically. I'll just show you. Copy. You see this? It changed to I-17. Right. Now this is, you have copied, you have not generated it from the layout. That's the reason the tool is giving you a random instance name to it. In here, what I did, I just renamed it manually just to create an error purposefully. So now what I'll do, I'll just save this. I'll go connectivity, check against source. I'll just check all the options over here. Now you see this glyph option I told you, right? I've set it to left mouse, click on the left mouse button or hover it. Hover in the sense, just move your mouse above it. Okay. Pointer. Click OK. Now I will get two errors over here. Okay. One is relating to the name. You just click on a drop down over here. Click on this. Here, just read the message, what it says. The schematic instance MN5 bound to the layout instance MN new. Here it is bound. Okay. Expects the corresponding layout instance name to be MN5. Here, the name over here, I'll just open up this guy. Instance name is MN5, but over here I've renamed it. For some reason, while you are copying or while you are in a hurry to fix the errors and all, you might have done this change. Okay, just right click, just say update names. Okay, the moment you update name, this guy changes to MN5. Just say update names. So this will check against the source. This will check against the schematic and update the corresponding name correctly. Now here, let's see this thing here. Okay, so there are 12 devices here. 3 4s are 12 devices, and that's what it is telling me, that the parameters are different here. Okay, see, if I click here, I'll get these parameters over here. What are these parameters? When you click query, right, the M1 route, say for example here, let me just open up and show you. Say, let me just click on this device, press Q, and if you see here, all these are device parameters. Okay, source is there, device P cell parameters. You see this? Click on this, it will drop down. There are lots of things here wherein, the guard ring is there, M1 route. I have deactivated Metal 1 routing and the gate related routing in the layout because I wanted to do as per my wish, as per what I wanted to route. Whereas the tool default the PDK will give you some preset options, area parameter, turning all of these options, turning all of these off and on options. The tool gives you default. So even this also, some of the companies, they expect you to match this as well. Now in here, if you observe poly route and M1 route, I have turned it on in the schematic, but in the layout, if I click on this, press Q, poly route and MN route, I have turned it off here. See this? There it is. Yeah. Poly route and uh, where is this? Metal route. Metal route and poly route, I have turned it off because I want to do the connections manually. If I do this on its own, then the P cell will do the routing on its own, and which we don't want, right? So these are the kinds of parameters which the tool expects you to be similar. Now, when I click on this, I get these options over here. Along with that, when I click on this, click here, automatically this is the same thing which is being shown over there. Okay, I'll click on this MN5 here. See this, these are the 5 parameters. I'll just stretch this a little bit. Okay. It says layout expected as it is in schematic. This is in the layout. Okay, because you are checking against the source. Keep in mind, it's not like you have to match both and it will work. No, it's not like that. Expected is this, which means this is there in the source. Because the name itself, it says check against source. The CAS stands for check against source. So if you take parameters one by one and you just say right click, here you have got multiple options here. Update selected layout parameters, right? If I say update layout parameters, what it does is whatever the settings are there in the schematic, as per that, it will end up updating the layout. Here we don't want that. Just for the sake of explanation, let me just turn on update layout selected parameters. The moment I say this, MN5 will change. See this? It automatically changes. It is updated, right? Now undo. I'll just say undo over here. Okay, because it had not turned on the tab in the schematic. Over here, I have turned on the tab purposefully, right? The substrate tab over here. Now, if I want to click on this, right click, say update all layout parameters. Okay. I'll just say update all layout parameters. Automatically, it will give me a message, whatever it has updated over here. Setting value parameter M1 route is true to layout as in the schematic, but we don't want this, right? We want it to be similar as in the schematic, if at all we have to do. So I'll just go back and press undo, just go, MN5, right click, update all schematic parameters as per what is there in the layout. I want that to happen. I don't want changes to reflect in my layout. I want whatever the parameter settings I've done in the layout to be updated in the schematic. So I'll say update all schematic parameters. Then automatically it will update here. This will retain as is. If you see here, setting value of parameter M1 route to false on schematic instance M5. Display parameters is true because it's there in the layout. Guard ring is true, which is set in the schematic. Left tab, top. All these details will get updated. And if you see here, my MN5 has gone. It is fixed. Likewise, what I'll do, I'll just say right click and say update all schematic parameters. Click OK. Done. See here, step by step, all these are getting fixed. If you see here, this got fixed. The moment you fix it, these parameter gallops will vanish. I'll just try to do it all at once and see if this happens. Right click, update all schematic parameters. Done. Just say click OK. Done. All the parameters are updated in one shot. You don't have to waste your time. If you see here, all the check against source when it comes to names and all is updated. Now I'll just save this over here. I'll go back to my schematic. I'll just say check and save so that I don't get this error again when I run my verification part. Okay, so this is about your comparing the names, checking for the binding of one instances. We'll see more in the next videos, and also updating the parameters. More in the next video about you trying to run check against source.